louder than me. Wait a minute. That can't be right.
"1,500 years after ancestors from Earth colonized planet SP-714, the human population has grown. Countries have divided, risen, fallen, and out of the ashes Dex Island is about to take center stage. Megalomaniacal weapons manufacturer and president Nathaniel Dex works with his colleagues to run his company and steer world politics. The destructive power of the products created by Dex Industries is terrifying, but nothing is more dangerous than his 3 adopted children, newly unleashed upon the world. Legacy, Episode 1, The Bomb, starring Chris Gregory, Warren Graham, Annika Cordes, Louis Watson, Kamara Elliott, Kelsey Griffin, Charlie Richards, and Emily Inkpen. Beginning final approach to Zart. capital city of Xenos. Estimated arrival time, 20 minutes.
Are you rehearsing your speech, Nathaniel?
I will not be saying anything, Tristan. This is not my party.
Do you think that as president of Dex and Dex Island, the place where this bomb was engineered, you will not be called upon to say a few words?
Perhaps I will. I'll make something up. It's not important.
What is important?
Almost 1,500 years ago, our ancestors landed on this planet with technology we have never managed to replicate. Their designs guided us in every direction, except back, towards the stars. We've been dragging ourselves forward until now, Tristan. This invention of Osa's, it surpasses everything they knew.
How do you mean?
Well, I expect this planet, SP714 as they so romantically labelled it, had more tricks up its sleeve than they anticipated. There's nothing in their records about this element she keeps going on about.
It's a type of metal, isn't it?
That's what I said, and she spent an hour telling me all the ways in which it isn't.
So what is it?
It's almost a type of metal. Honestly, I don't care what it is as long as it works. The price of this one missile will build us another airship, maybe two, and in the meantime, Osa can continue her work.
You want another airship? Are you going to start selling those next?
No, there are some things we must keep for Dex Industries alone. We will be the greatest military power on the planet and a direct threat to nobody.
Selling bombs is one thing, Nathaniel. Selling full military services is another. Who has that kind of money?
Building and maintaining a military force is expensive, Tristan. We're in the industry. We know that better than anyone.
So you really think countries will choose to hire Dex military in times of need rather than maintain their own military power constantly?
Yes.
And you believe you can keep Dex Island neutral? Avoid being dragged into international politics?
Yes.
How?
Because they will fear us. If all goes well, after today, they will all fear us.
How big is this explosion going to be?
Osa tells me it will make a lasting impression. If all goes according to plan, I will never have to sell another.
I see.
Where are my children? Did you make contact?
Yes, they're seeing heavy action in Domina, but they will be joining the Secure Live launch channel.
Good. This will be a historic day for us. They should see it. Those three are still the most dangerous weapons Dex Industries has ever developed.
If this bomb is as big as you say, then...
There are more dangers to the human race than pure death and destruction, Tristan. When Devek designed them, he redesigned us. And there is nothing more dangerous to flawed people than the idea of flawless evolution.
Well, we're a long way away from seeing if evolution is the word to use.
Perhaps. But for now, we build.
Ren, take your people down the left flank. Isra, join me in the middle ground. And...
Varian, don't you think I should be taking the left flank? I am faster.
It's not like I'm slow.
No, Ren, you're not. Just slower.
Can you see what they're doing?
Nope, but they're busy beyond that ridge.
With any luck, they're licking their wounds. They've lost over 50 already, and they're a small force.
We're smaller, Varian.
Yes, Isra, but the odds are stacked where we're concerned. And you know it.
They've also got the high ground.
All right. Something's happening. They're
what?
Get down!
What is that?
It looks like they've got 5 cannons?
Ren, get your head down for the sake of the gods.
Gods, don't bring them into this. Varian, how much cover have we got?
Not enough to protect us for long, and if we don't see them off, we'll be here all day, and we'll miss the launch. Why do you have to watch that damn thing anyways?
It's an internationally important event, Varian. And he wants us to witness it.
Well, Ren, we're going to get our asses kicked in an internationally impressive way if we're not careful. We could call in some help.
No way. We're doing this. There's only 60 of them, Varian. We can take them.
60? And 5 cannons, or whatever the hell they are. We have 10 each. This was meant to be a stealth mission.
Yes, Ren, and they clearly saw us coming. I bet they're feeling really proud of themselves right now.
Isra, what are you doing?
Varian, left flank.
That's what I said.
I see an opening on the ridge, but they're not pointing their whatever they are that way.
Isra, you are not. Get down.
Pax, are we doing this? Good. Wait for me.
Isra! Ow!
She's gone, Ren. I've got a drone somewhere. Let me just see what she's doing.
What? Varian, what can you see?
I'm watching. Okay, that was a slick move.
I can't see anything.
Well, you know the cannon on the left?
I saw it.
It's now facing the rest of them.
I hate it when she does this.
I hate how smug she is after. Alright, are you ready?
Well, I guess I'm joining you in the middle ground.
Looks like it. Forward!
I hope drones were watching that. I want to see it.
You want to watch yourself fight?
You would too, Varian, if you could fight like that. Woo! That was fun! And we're back in time, so...
Yes, well done, Isra. Who was that soldier you took with you?
Pax. Oh, she's crazy. That's why I needed her.
I wonder where she gets that from. What's our count, Ren?
8. Which isn't bad for one day.
It wasn't just 8, Ren.
What are you talking about?
I counted 103 Dominosi rebels, Isra, or did you forget them? I'd be surprised if you did, considering you took out almost 60 of them by yourself.
Varian, they weren't our losses. I stopped counting enemy dead years ago.
When you lost count?
No, he's right. Isra, it's just...
Just what?
It's hard to feel sorry for them when my fingers still ache.
Still? That was a week ago.
They stuck electric probes into them and burned them from the inside out. So yeah, they still ache.
Varian, I don't care what you say. We lost 8 today. The others can go to hell.
Well, if that's where they're headed, we'll just join them at some point. You can face them then. Don't smile at me like that, Isra. You can't kill them twice. Ren, if it's bad, you should talk to Devik about it.
Do you think he'd fix me up? You know, they were going to start chopping things off next. You have no idea how relieved I was when you two showed up.
No one takes one of us prisoner and lives to talk about it. They know that now.
Anyway, a few fried nerve endings isn't enough of a reason to go home. If they'd have taken my arm off, then maybe.
Oh sure, you're so tough.
Tough enough?
Do you think Devek would have made you a new one?
Like a robotic one?
Varian, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for the secure connection. There's a time limit on these things, you know?
I don't know if I'd want a robotic arm. Would you want me to have a robotic arm?
Depends how it moves, I guess.
Isra? Ren? Not when I'm in the room.
You're not even looking.
I don't need to be, okay? Something's coming through.
Preparation. All systems go for launch.
I didn't know we'd be watching via satellite. Ren, do you know anything about this bomb?
I know some things. They don't know how wide the blast radius will be, so I suppose satellite is the best way to see it. Although, that does suggest that it will be big.
How big?
No one knows. The technology has never been tested before, not on this scale, anyway. We were able to estimate, but nothing more.
And why do Xenos want to blow Rhone up?
The civil war has been going for almost 12 years, and they're fed up with it. The island of Rhone wants its independence back, and Xenos won't let that happen. They buy one bomb of this size from us, drop it on them, get the message across once and for all, and end it.
You know, I think I read something in the seed data about a similar situation on Earth, way back in ancestor history.
Ren, how much of the seed data have you read?
Not enough.
What happened?
A lot of people died.
Cleared for launch. Protocols enabled. Starting countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there she goes. It'll take a few minutes.
Optimum altitude attained. Missile on target.
I take it they're targeting a populated area.
Something tells me it won't matter much.
And impact.
Oh, wow! That colour.
Sort of blue? Green?
It's still spreading. Oh no.
And there goes Rome.
Well, that went very well, I think.
Osa, you just destroyed a country with one bomb.
No, Devik, I did not.
How can you think that?
I was told to create the most scientifically advanced weapon the world has ever seen. I did not sell it, and I did not detonate it. When Varian, Isra and Ren go into battle and kill a multitude, do you feel responsible?
That's different.
And how is that? Oh, you let the responsibility rest on their shoulders. That is cold. No, they're children still. Just 15, Varian is 16, hardly responsible adults.
Do not compare my children to this. My work is about science, Oza. What is done with it is...
Yes.
If I had my way, they would stay at home where they are safe, where they can be looked after and monitored.
They are not your children.
Gods, Tristan, I hate it when you do that. Please, a little noise next time you walk in on an argument. For the sake of courtesy. No?
They're Nathaniel's children by law. They always have been. He lets you play with them, but they are his property and the property of Dex Industries.
You're giving him an excuse for not taking responsibility for the things they do.
It is not Devik's responsibility.
Huh? So this bomb was not mine?
No, it was not.
What is Nathaniel's take on all this?
He is processing.
He is the business in front of our brains. He puts in the orders and sells the results and deals with the fallout. You know we are lucky to have him.
It is good to know you feel that way, especially as that is the reason he runs it all. Of course, you're now in a great deal of danger, Osa. Once the shock subdues, people will be angry and they will come after you.
Let them. It's about time I was on a death list or two. It's always given such glamour to Devik's work.
Has it?
I will be providing you with protection.
We'll see how amorous it feels when you're tripping over his agents every time you turn around.
Devik, those agents are the only reason you're alive.
If Nathaniel let me keep the children at home, I wouldn't need your agents.
You think they would protect you, Devik? After everything you've done to them? One day, my friend, you will realize that they do not love you. I think maybe the opposite. If I were you, I would sleep easier knowing they're fighting other people a long way from here. It's why I like bombs and guns. They have no thoughts. They won't one day wake up and think, Osa made me a killing machine, but I did not want to be a killing machine. I think maybe I don't like Osa so much anymore.
This isn't helping anyone.
I have always sought to make them more, better.
Devik, I don't want to talk about the children. Today, I went beyond anything anyone has ever done before. On this planet, anyway. Let me have this.
I don't think you'll find much competition for the glory.
So, Tristan, you also do not approve?
I think you followed your brief and your technology was extraordinary. But history remembers the minds behind the weapons as monsters, not scientists.
Exactly.
The same goes for you, Devik.
But think of what I can do with that much energy, Tristan. Think of what can be achieved.
Concentrate on those things and you may be remembered as more than just a psychopath.
It takes one to know one, Tristan Crail. Do you never think what people will say about you?
Most people don't know I exist and very few know who I am. I am not interested in infamy.
Oh, but you are infamous. The world fears you and your network of spies, your agents. Even if they don't know the mind behind it, they know there is a mind. Lack of knowledge is more frightening, I think. Nathaniel, what is your opinion?
Never again.
In episode 1 of The Dex Legacy, you heard Chris Gregory as Nathaniel Dex, Warren Graham as Tristan Crail, Annika Cordes as Dr. Osa Srivastava, Louis Watson as Dr. Devik Shah, Kamara Elliott as Varian Dex, Kelsey Griffin as Isra Dex, Charlie Richards as Ren Dex, and Emily Inkpen as Auto, with music by Dr. Alan Stroud. The Dex Legacy is written by me, Emily Inkpen, and produced by Alternative Stories. If you enjoyed that episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really does help. If you'd like to support The Dex Legacy, you can at ko-fi.com/The Dex Legacy audio drama.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Are you struggling with paying fines? Do you lose sleep in hyperspace worrying about docking at the next space station? If the answer is yes, then you need to call Cowell & McGrath Fine Management Services.
I got scanned while in Federation space and was caught carrying slaves. It was an unexpected expense that I couldn't afford on top of my fines for damage caused whilst docking.
We can help you consolidate all your existing fines into a single large fine, payable in regular instalments at what is almost a competitive interest rate.
I called Cowell & McGrath Fine Management Services, and they helped me pay my existing fines before I got a bounty on my head. They really saved my life.
At Cowell & McGrath, we've helped thousands of pilots whose fines had spiralled out of control.
I dared not go near a police star system. Got so desperate that I'd almost resigned myself to a life of piracy. Luckily, I found Cowell & McGrath's services before I actually murdered anyone in cold blood.
No fines too big, no criminal record too damning. We're here to help you, no questions asked. Find us in the Lave Business Directory.
I'd got into debt as a result of a massive counter-lawsuit by Watt and Prittney. It happened because I'd taken advice on Python protection insurance from... Wait a minute! It was you!
Cowell and McGrath. Minimum liability, zero accountability. Warning, balances may go up as well as down. Missed payments may lead to repossession of your ship, seizure of cargo, or the issuing of a death warrant.
Have you found yourself in a spot of bother with those Xenodes messing up your backyard?
Oh, why are there Fargoids in my system?
Can't leave the house without fear of a hyperdiction?
Can't even get to work. Not that they've noticed, because everything's on fire there too.
Sick of the amount of time it takes to scrub the caustic damage from those hard-to-reach places?
Oh, fuck! Oh, it fucking hurts! Fuck! Ow!
Introducing Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream. Apply a few drops to the affected area and feel the euphoria of instant relief. After that, just wash the burn away.
It's like it was meant to happen.
It's so good, you can even use it on your ships.
Thanks, Dr. Pope. My ship smells brand new.
Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream, the miracle that can happen. Side effects may include dizziness, constipation, an itching sensation, worship of an obviously aggressive false deity, death, and loss of sense of smell. Should you experience any of these symptoms, please contact your doctor immediately. Not Dr. Pope though, he's busy.
Oi, how you doing, my brother? So you run some data and you left your little sidey and you're starting to think about maybe a ship that can punch a little bit harder. Well, the Killback, the one with the little flappy wings, is just what the doctor ordered. It is multi-crew enabled and is the smallest ship with a fighter bay, so you can point and they will do your bidding. Ha! It's got 3 utility mounts, 2 small and 2 medium hard points, plus a whole batch of compartments. So if you want a bit of fun, grab a Killback, my son.
welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the current Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 440 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford, and joining me in the Ori Sidewinder Bar for this episode, we have, of course, our SRV Banksy driver, Commander Alec Turner.
Good evening, 071 and all.
We also have our Head of Health and Safety, Ben Moss-Woodward, otherwise known as Commander Aid Levice.
I'm back! Missed you guys.
Yeah, but you can always reload. And we also have our Staff Liaison Officer, otherwise known as the legendary Commander Psychit.
Hello.
Hello. No, but that's not all. No, we have... Joining us today, we have the wonderful Sally Morgan-Moore.
Hello.
Hello. And the not-so-well Arf Tomey.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome, welcome back, everybody. So normally we'd go around the crew, see what they've been up to, but we've got two more important people here than the rest of us. So, Arf and Sally, how's your day been?
I'm trying to be as professional as possible. I'm trying to keep the tone low and steady. I'm trying not to squeak too much.
I wouldn't worry
I
about
can't
it.
help it. It's like it. I'm losing my mind.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Today,
It's been mental, mate.
Arthur, what have we? I mean, it's happened, doesn't it?
It's done. I mean, this
Had a good
is
one.
yeah, it's really exciting, not just for us, but for all the dev team as well. Like, it's been a really big, long time coming for what you've got now, and yeah, we're all very, very excited. Very pleased to see it go out the way it did. It's been a long day, specifically for young Sally, who was up in the early hours this morning. And I think people realise how early some people get up just to make sure it all goes off. But yeah, it's been a long day, but well worth it.
It is, and we're just riding it now. Even now, looking at social, and Arthur literally messaged me on the side like the love is strong. It's such a big feeling for us because we want this for you. Like I was saying earlier, like we're so proud of the teams and everybody involved, and it's a great achievement for us. But to see you all react and you all get this is what we're thriving off, really.
Yeah. For those of you who have had their head in the sand for the last couple of weeks, we're obviously talking about update 15, which dropped today, and people have been discovering it. And let us just put out a warning for the rest of the show. This show will probably be spoiler heavy, and so if you don't want to be spoiled, then, well, I don't know, later. Catch up later, maybe.
Watch us later. Listen to us later. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
we are a
absolutely no
podcast.
problem.
Yes, that is a very good point. You don't actually have to listen to us live. You can download us and listen to us later. Although it is nice if you have live people here anyway. So
We could even put in the show notes, couldn't we? Spoilers here, 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 and
Everywhere, all the way along it.
Yep, all the way through. So you have now been warned. As of this moment, I am lifting the spoiler warning, and yeah, guys, I must admit, I've seen a couple of things that have been unveiled today, and it's up there with the original Thargoid reveal, in my opinion. 'Cause, yeah, that was. Yeah, I must admit, when Sidekick got through that cloud and we saw what was there, I literally chills. Sidekick, you have
I have
some
a
questions.
million questions, but loads of different ones that are really are super super specific to you guys really. First and foremost, I know when I spoke to you on Thursday, you were both super confident that everything was going to run really really smoothly with regard to the update. Either that was a huge poker face, and I'm incredibly impressed if that's the case. But how was it on sort of like your
You're
end?
amazed
Did
to go
everything
that
run
smooth,
fine?
right? That's what you're asking.
Yeah. How was it on your end? How did you? Was it as smooth as everything seemed like it was going to be?
Actually, it was. I mean, a huge shout out to the development team, Gautier in particular, for just having a system in place. You know, we had plenty of downtime, lots of testing. It's not so we've got some bits we're not going to pick up on and looking at straight away, which we are. But the deployment went well. It was really nice to have all the devs in a room. As soon as it dropped, watching people, I think I was in your stream, watching people start download straight away and almost get in and start playing. So it was for us, it was a really, really good launch of an update. It was a really nice buzz in the room. I don't know how if that's a different view, Sally, but I think we were very, very happy.
I think, yeah, and I think the reason we went into it legitimately confident, we are confident every time, really. Like we have a level of confidence that is unwaning. I think you have to with Elite.
Yeah.
But with this one, we wanted it. The devs wanted it as badly for all of you, like to go really, really well. And there were, as Arthur said, there were loads of additional systems in place. We are learning along the way, even though it's like 10 years. You learn something new with Elite every single update, every single week. And I think we were just perfectly prepared this time. So yeah, totally with Arthur on that one.
Do you? I mean, I'm very much in the same camp that what we found in there. Well, yes, one could say that what you find in there is something that may have been data mined or found out about before, but I don't think that the scale of it and exactly what we were expecting, I feel like it surpassed a lot of expectations. I think that's fair to say, wouldn't you, guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, really, it's kind of, I was saying, was that on show or probably before show? I was saying it was what I expected. The thing, we're going to have to say what it is in a second, don't we? The thing was what I expected, but 100 times better in terms of
Yeah.
atmosphere and scale. And it was just like, oh, holy shit, look at that. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it did say, I mean, Arf, you did drop hints to us saying that it's the biggest thing that they've ever put into Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
Apart from planets, obviously. But you weren't kidding, were you?
No. It's really nice to hear you guys say that sort of stuff. Like I say, it was one of those things that we were very privileged, Sally and I, to see a few months ago. And everyone that sees it, and even watching it again and again and again, it never fails to impress. Seeing it, like as players approach it, and it comes out of the maelstrom, it just emerges with the lightning game in the background. It's absolutely astounding what they've done. And I showed it to our some of our press people, and they were just like, "Oh my god, can we please can we have this as exclusive?" And I was like. And in fairness, it was the devs and us. We made a very conscientious effort to say that we will give stuff away, but this is for the players first. No press out will have this until the players can see it first.
And I think that was something like, obviously when there was the extra coverage that came out earlier from our partners, and a few little snippets were revealed. We really, we're not going to give everything away like that. We had all of this extra stuff there in the bank, and we kind of have to go through that part of like everybody rightfully speculating, oh, is this it? It's all out there, it's all that. And then me and Arthur sitting there going, oh my God, it's not. Like, there's so much more for you. But that's something we have to work through in it, Arthur. We just get excited.
It's a double-edged sword of what we do, and like I've seen it, and then people get frustrated that we're not saying anything, but it makes the moments that we wait for worthwhile. So it's like, look, we'll take a little bit of heat because we think it's generally worthwhile watching everyone's faces light up when they go through and find it for themselves. It's just better that way.
I just genuinely can't believe that you guys remember what you've said and what you haven't. I mean, I'd lose track of it so easily.
I have a Sally to keep me in check.
I feel like when we've been watching certain Frame Shift live, I think there's a list on a laptop where Sally's like, you mention any of these words and I will kill you.
The threats are getting bigger and bigger on the screen every week. Yeah.
This is big red writing.
Or I just spit juice in his face. I mean, that was what happened last time. So
it's one way to shut him up.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So it's obviously been a long day. Update 15. You say that you saw this a couple of months ago. How long has it actually been in development then? Has it obviously the Thargoid War started? Development for that started almost a year ago, but this particular part of it, when did the guys actually start working it?
I mean, I don't know exactly because I'm not obviously in the dev team. I know there's obviously been elements it's something they wanted to do for a long time to get right, but we knew what was happening with this particular thing. We've all done very well not to mention it, by the way. I'm going to give you all a thumbs up for this, but we all knew what was coming way back with the Salvation storyline, where it would lead to. So you can imagine like thinking about where this is going, and even now you're seeing this part of it. We need to know where this is going, which we do. So we have to wait for you guys to just do your thing. And I can't. I'm going to imagine Sally's face.
What things haven't we found yet?
Say again, sorry.
The thing, I can't look, guys. I can't reach him from here. He's in a different house. So go steady.
Yeah, come on. They've had a long day. Just take it easy.
It's had a long day. Maybe you need some gin.
Yeah. But look, they've been working it for a while. They wanted to get it right and have it do the things that they want it to do and provide something that players can enjoy. They've got that in there, but that's something for players that will have to experience and work out as time goes on. But I think initial reactions for the dev team and I, and certainly for the community team, seeing you react to it is exactly what we could have hoped for. This level of reaction, it makes us really, really happy to see people be as happy as they are with it. I'm not sure if it was yourself, Alec. I think there has been a huge amount of expectation of what these things could be, and to hear people say that it's exceeded that expectation, probably the biggest amount of praise the dev team could receive.
Yeah, and I really need to play the game because I know just seeing screenshots and videos doesn't convey what it's like to be next to something big, and the scale is really hard to judge in this game. And I think it's only when you're actually flying your ship and you kind of have a sense of how fast your ship moves and you start moving around something that you really get it. And I can't wait for that because you can't spoil that moment. I think you still need to go and see it for yourself. I think it's going to be extraordinary.
Yeah.
Can I
go on, Alec?
Okay, look, real spoiler now, because I kind of do need to do it to ask my question. So the thing at the center of the maelstrom is turn away now if you don't want to hear. So it's basically a very much alive and active version of the crashed Thargoid motherships that we've seen on planets, and indeed that we have a buckyball race going around right now. So what we see on the planet, I think, is about 5 kilometers across. I think I had to get the SRV up to about 200 meters a second to jump across one. So they're bloody enormous. And what's really apparent from the screenshots is that the little bit that we see above the surface on the ground is a tiny bit. It's like the top fifth of the whole thing. So there's a vast amount underground that we don't normally see. So when you were talking about how long it's been in development, my question was, did you know from way back when you created what the ground sites looked like, did you have a sense of what was underground?
So I have to tread very carefully here.
Here we
because
go. Here we go. Come on, Alex.
You're making some assumptions which may or may not be correct.
Okay.
So I'll have to leave it there and say that's all I can say really. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. Interesting.
It will take some more. I think I'm going to enjoy you guys doing the science. That's what I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that people have been saying is, oh, it's all going to be combat. It's all going to be combat. But obviously, people are going to need to think their way through whatever, whatever the encounter is to deal with these motherships or hive ships or whatever you want to call it.
I feel like I just spent like an hour in there without firing a single shot earlier. So I mean, I don't think I learned anything either, to be completely fair on that.
I mean, it's only day one, right? There's lots of stuff to learn.
Yeah.
I find a lot of the comments really interesting. Obviously, I have to bite my lip, and I won't say anything along the lines of "you're close to what you just said there," or getting warmer. I'm just going to let people work it out because, again, going back to the reveal, it's far better when you work it out for yourselves. But yeah, I'll leave everyone to start doing the digging. It's day one. I watched about every player I watched flew into it and crashed into various parts of it, which I enjoyed immensely. It's just like the first litmus test. Just gonna crash into it, see what happens.
I tell you what though, next live stream will be a cool one because obviously we'll go a little bit more into like discoveries and how far you've got, and we'll have Curtis back as well. So we won't leave you completely without his passing judgment. Yeah, but lots of stuff to look forward to.
And to give, sorry to interrupt one more time, but just to give a little bit of insight into those streams, like some of that is very difficult, and like full credit to Sally for this, because when we have a guest on like Curtis, there's stuff there that he could talk about ad infinitum, but there's stuff there where like actually that's going to be really cool for players to discover. So maybe don't mention that because that's from a design standpoint, they might talk through a particular process about this thing, and they'll say, oh, it's designed this way because X, but that might ruin some of the mystery you guys are going to be solving. And we don't want that to happen. So actually vetting the questions and the answers is just as important.
Such a balancing act, isn't it? Because we never ever want to keep anything from you on one side of us, but we want to keep things from you for reasons.
You want to give us the joy of discovery.
Yes, exactly.
Psyche, you've got another one.
Yeah. I've got like a million. I could talk to both of you for potentially 3 to 4 hours. So I hope you're here for a long time. I'm joking. I'm obviously joking. It's fine. My question was, and I know it's very, very early days, and I know that we've scratched the surface as far as discovery and things along those lines. It's a really difficult thing to try and quantify, but I'd like you to possibly try and quantify a kind of percentage as to how much of the surface we've scratched, how deep we've managed to get.
In the first hour.
In the first few hours, yeah.
Real tough question to answer, because we obviously watched like quite a lot of streams at once. I think people have seen some things and they haven't quite worked out what these things are, what they do. So it's very hard to put in a percentage. Like there's so much going on, and I don't think everyone's seen everything yet. Like I genuinely, they may have, but from what I've seen, I don't think everyone's seen everything yet or correlated things together. So I don't. Honest answers are, it's very hard for me to quantify.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I mean, even I finished, and I was talking to some of my my mods, and one of my mods went, "Holy shit, this has just happened!" And something that I hadn't experienced in my hour or so, farting about around one of them, suddenly appeared. So it is very, very exciting. It's very exciting. It's a cool time.
Yeah, and obviously it's not just this mothership. We've also got the glaive, which is coming in and wreaking havoc
Mhm.
with
Not
with
so
players.
cute now, is it?
No,
I
no.
don't know what you're talking about. It's the sweet little sausage.
Yeah, if that sweet little sausage was full of razor blades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, and like I say, there's lots of stuff, and you know, we mentioned that this is a new variant. Who knows what comes next?
The shuriken and the katana and all of
So
the other weapon names.
You wouldn't have a hunter class if there wasn't more than one of them, I don't think.
I'm saying nothing.
I mean, yeah. This has obviously been quite difficult to keep secret. I mean, I take it you've been hoping to replicate the original Thargoid surprise.
Sorry, I had to cough.
It's all right.
Do you know what? I think yes. I think we always knew there was going to be quite a healthy amount of anticipation from what's was going to be found. And I think it was more about making sure the expectation met what players were hoping for. So I hope we've managed to do that. The feeling I get is that we did. So I think that's what we're aiming for.
Right. Has anybody got any other? Well, Psychic, you've surely got
I've
more
got like
questions.
a million questions, but it's not a problem. It's something. Obviously, you guys have been super busy all day, and we don't need you to overstay any welcomes at all. And like Sally, I know you've been up since stupid o'clock.
I've got a very delicious lamb hot pot waiting for me in the microwave, which I would love to enjoy, but also I love enjoying my time here with you. Not that I'm saying a lamb hot pot is better than you.
I mean, I would.
Why not both? Just do
Yeah,
what Colin
why-
does.
You just hear me nomming away on the bit. No, I mean, we're always happy to jump in on conversations. We're really grateful that you asked us to come on. I don't see why we wouldn't come on again in future.
100%.
Yeah.
Today is a long one, isn't it? It's just like, woo.
Well, I think Ben's got one last question, and then we'll let you go. So, because Arth wants to go off and die because the cough's getting bad, and
So sorry,
obviously
guys.
Sally is dying of starvation. So, Ben, your question.
Okay, you mentioned earlier that you want everyone to have a look at, but there is a barrier to entry for people who are, shall we say, time poor. Will that barrier be reduced and we can just pay for it in credits like we've been able to do with all the brilliant AX weaponry and stuff like that?
You're
if you
thinking
can
of
even
course,
say
zinc
anything.
and stuff like that, I'm guessing. Ben.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I go into the Maelstrom at the moment, I will get eaten alive within seconds. But I know that we've got all these other tools that are coming in, but to get them, you need to go off and get all these other materials. That would take me a weekend, and I just don't have a weekend.
Well, let it take you like 4 weeks then instead of a weekend, Ben.
But I want it now.
Well, that's like those are the sacrifices that you're gonna need to make, mate.
But no.
This I mean, I'm not going to speak too much about the upcoming narrative that's going to happen, but I will say this goes back to what we said before. It's a very delicate balance for us at all times, because it's kind of like if we do something too soon, players get very upset because obviously and rightly so, they put a lot of effort into to do some of the research, and some of those players out there got a lovely message today. Some of the first ones that handed in the Guardian relic, they got a message in game from. Excuse me, sorry.
They did
I'm
get
so
an
sorry.
message.
I'm so sorry. So it's about rewarding players for their effort, but also understanding that there are players that, like you rightly said, don't necessarily have that time, and finding a way to manage that. So it's something we're aware of. I can't say too much about the narrative at the minute, though.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, I'm so psyched to be able to get there when I can get there.
Yeah,
I really am.
Awesome.
Well, Sally and Arv, thank you for joining us. We can let you. You can run away now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sally, go get something to eat. Arv, please.
You're gonna
go
do
get
it.
Yeah.
We'll see
guys,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Obviously.
Just before I go, just thanks to everyone for all your support always. I hope you all enjoy it. Plenty much more to discover, and thanks for having us on again. Much love to you all. 07.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
O7. O7. Bye.
Bye. And they have left the Sidewinder bar very, very quickly, and I don't blame them.
Bless. I mean, bless R for coming in when he's sick as a parrot as well.
And the message that that first message that went out at 5 a.m. with the 2-hour countdown.
Oh yeah,
This
that was
morning,
Sally.
Sally was up for that. So
Oh Jesus.
let's move on from there. But bless them. We're so grateful, and I think we will leave that as like an open invitation for them to come and join us whenever they feel fit. For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, especially sort of after we've found a lot more of these clues and other activities for which will be unlocked. I think that would be great to have them back on for them to post-mortem the community's attempt to take these things apart.
Indeed.
Yeah. Right. Well, and tonight's in-game activity, I think Ben and Chris, they're trying to poke the bear, aren't they?
Yeah, we're going to go off and have a look at some of these AX reactivation missions. And I know we're going to get our butts handed to us, but that's half the fun.
It's so tricky. It's so tricky.
Yeah, because you've tried everything so far, haven't you, Psyche?
I say you say everything. Like as I was saying, I finished stream with trying to my mods, and one of my mods was like, "Oh, have you seen this?" No, I have not. But I tried the AX reactivation missions. I tried 3 of them and completed 1.
Oh right, you actually managed to complete.
I managed to complete the last one.
Yeah.
It is tricky. It is tricky, and they're
Sorry, I only saw the failures.
Well, I mean, the failures were hilarious, and the last one was a lot of running away until I felt confident enough to call my ship back in.
All right. Well, so let's quickly go over the development news. Obviously, update 15 has dropped today. For those of you who are interested, the approximate build size is about 10 gigabytes if you're on Steam, 16 gigabytes if you're using the Epic Store. Why? We don't know. So Sally obviously released the release notes, which everybody has been going through with a fine-tooth comb. Is there any highlights from those release notes apart from obviously what you've seen? Okay, so I get you've
the fleet carriers, the fleet carrier icon. You don't see 15 individual fleet carriers anymore. You see like a stacked fleet carrier, and it tells you how many fleet carriers are there on the system map. That is worth the 10 gig download alone. It is fucking fantastic.
On that, I very briefly jumped into the game and had a look. That's really cool. I don't mind necessarily that we can't unnest it. What I am curious about is when you click on that, on the right-hand side, there is a list of services. But given that what you've clicked on is a collection of potentially 20 fleet carriers, you can see where I'm going with this. How do you know which fleet carrier has which of the services listed?
POIs in the system map.
Do what?
The POIs.
Oh,
so on the left.
Does that show individual fleet carriers?
It's individual fleet carriers.
Ah, cool, brilliant, good, thank you, awesome.
And it will say which one of those. If it's if like someone was saying this in chat, this might be me taking it third hand. But we were doing. They were saying if it's not available to everyone, if you're not going to be able to land on it, it will be grayed out in the POI as well.
Oh, that's useful. That is.
Nice.
I'm glad that they've taken the time to.
I am being advised that it's
that.
showing the first one in the list as far as the thingy is concerned, but I mean they're all around the same area, and you can then look at them. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Has anybody actually managed to kill a glaive yet?
I was shot at one pretty consistently.
You mean the glaives aren't being all fluffy and friendly to us?
Surprisingly enough, no.
I thought almost certainly, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But
maybe you should try hugging them first.
Certainly. Why don't we'll use you as the experimental hugger, Ben, and see how well you do.
Where would I go for this then?
Into the center of the maelstrom. So good luck, Ben.
Yeah, I'm dead.
I take it that's the only place we've found them so far.
Yeah, but we are day one of the patch, so it's going to be
True.
bloody earlier.
Yeah. So yes, this is the three main things that have come out so far. Has obviously been the discovery of the Thargoid mothership / hive ship, whatever you wish to call it, at the center of the Maelstrom, which, let's be honest, is absolutely massive. We also have the new Odyssey on-foot mission where you have to reactivate a base while avoiding Thargoid drones. It's not full-on FPS, versus not the Starship Trooper things that people were crying out for, but it is the first step in Odyssey content for this.
So here's a question, actually, because these are technically ship missions, even though they're on ground. Can we share them?
I genuinely don't know.
I guess I'll find out in a minute. So, okay, I'm going to go and accept one right now because I can. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to try and accept one. There we go.
And of course, the third thing, the third headline feature, if you like, is the new Thargoid ship, which is called the Glaive. It's a hunter variant. It is very aggressive, and it comes after you left, right, and center. Yeah.
And yes, I can share it, by the way.
Awesome.
Excellent. So yeah, I
for that.
take it as soon as one of you are spotted by the Thargoids, you're all spotted by the Thargoids.
No idea.
Well,
What as far in the Maelstrom is concerned, so in the center of the Maelstrom, I managed to be like, I lost the Glaive. I didn't really do anything. I was just like flying around and tanking it because I'm in a cutter, so I've got like a metric shit ton of hull, and it's not a problem. But I was just pretty much tanking the damage from the Glaive. But then it wasn't. It kind of wasn't too it didn't feel too bad. It was pretty easy to take down the shields on it though.
Oh right, so it has shields. It's not like a interceptor where you've got to take out a heart before the shields come up.
Oh, there's absolutely no hearts on it. It's two
Oh, right.
spinning shurikens either away from each other. But I feel like it functions very similar to an Orthrus, but somebody from my chat picked up that its lightning hands were recharging its shield.
Oh, what you mean? It was using its lightning to drain your power to power up its shields.
Yeah, well, I don't even know whether it was draining my power, but they said they were taking notes. They were being fastidious and stuff while I was just like messing about. And 40%, they were like, "Oh, it's gone up by 40%." All right, I'll take your word for it.
Oh my goodness! So basically, it can repair itself by damaging your ship.
It's interesting, isn't it? It reminds me a bit of like our sort of lasers that cool our ship while also doing damage. It's like a double-edged. It's quite a neat idea that the lightning could both do damage to you and recharge itself.
Yeah, and it also does it does weird things to your internals. I know when we were first we were shown it, we were told that it was more difficult to get away from than like an interceptor or maybe scouts are concerned. So
yeah, so you reckon it's kind of the Thargoid equivalent of a medium-sized ship then?
possibly. Again, so it's really fast, so it's really difficult to gauge exactly how the site how comparatively big it is compared to like scouts and interceptors. I would say it probably sits in the middle of there. It's nippy and it packs a punch. It's cool, and it is the first of the hunter class, which makes me really scared because the bigger ones are probably going to be even angrier.
That is a worry, isn't it?
Yeah. When and where are they going to appear?
Yeah, that's the fun one. Yeah, I mean, looking through it, they've got tons of fixes. There's a whole lot of things from the issue tracker which they're able to tick off. I think the only thing that I haven't seen is a fix that they said was going to be in for the CQC map problem. You know, there was a certain CQC map that it would kick everybody out of. I think that's the only thing that I haven't seen in there. But yeah, it's a big patch.
Yeah.
And
There's lots in there. People will always find their, oh, but what about X? You know, there's always plenty of X's that aren't listed. But it's a great set of patch notes. And I was saying to Sally earlier, I absolutely love the fact that we finally got issue tracker ticket references. I think that is really important. Just apart from anything else, it just reminds people that the issue tracker is a really important resource for Frontier. You know, it's got its bugs and it's got all sorts of issues with it, and people really like to knock the issue tracker, but it is the way to report bugs. And to see Frontier, you know, referring to it in this way and going, fix that, fix that, fix that, I think it's great that we've got those references back to the issue tracker in there.
yeah, because basically that's one way that you can turn around to people and say, look, no, they have been fixing things. Look at all this kind of stuff. Yeah, and there's the usual amount of there's a few UI changes and a few optimizations for the graphics, which is, you know, always welcome. And anything which speeds up the graphics and the frame rate is always welcome.
I have a question, if anyone knows the answer, because Sally highlighted this one and said it's huge, and it seems like it could be a huge deal, but I don't quite understand why. It's the one to do with, it was linked in with the fuel rats and teammate navlock issues. What's the problem with teammate navlock? I've sort of heard rumors that it's not been working properly, but I haven't fully understood.
Oh, if only I had Commander Turkarov.
I can answer that if you need me to.
Yes, go on, then, Turka.
So there was a thing wherein if you teammate navlocked, you wouldn't actually navlock next to your teammate.
You drop out, but hundreds of kilometers away, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was my understanding of it. It was really tricky to actually navlock. And my personal experience of navlocking on someone is dropping in like absolutely miles away from it. But Turkov is saying that it's not that. So
I imagine it's typing furiously as we speak.
I imagine so. My personal experience was just like ending up friggin' miles away, and it was easier just to drop on the signal and find them. So that was my personal experience of it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave the development news for the moment. We'll come back with some sneaky snippets from the London Science Museum after this. But I think we'll just take a quick break.
Have you been affected by Azimuth Biotech's provocation of the Thargoid menace? At Turner & Fig, we're ready to pursue claims against Azimuth Biotech as part of our class action lawsuit.
My son has started worshipping the Thargoid god and keeps bringing home human sacrifices. Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
My daughter was aboard the Bright Sentinel. I keep calling Azimuth to find out where she is, but I always get their voicemail.
Thank you for calling Azimuth Biotech. We're sorry, but
Salvation
is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
I was selling escape pod occupants into slavery, but now Thargoids keep taking the escape pods instead. Am I entitled to compensation?
I suppose so. Thousands, maybe millions of people are due compensation from Azimuth Biotech. Contact us today. Turner & Fig, cleaning out Azimuth Biotech for a huge portion of your compensation.
There's bargains at Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium haven't just been slicing carcasses, but also slicing their prices. All unspecified meat sausages now 2 for the price of 1. A pack of assorted meat steaks, now with 50% more meat at half the price. How about chops? Our surprising meat chops now also 50% off. And introducing our massive meat hamper. It's a family of 4. No, that should say feeds a family of 4, right?
Stick to the script, Claire. It says it's a family of 4.
Okay, I'll stick to the script.
Yeah, you do that.
It's a family of 4. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us next to the station mortuary. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. You'll wonder how our prices are so low.
And welcome back. Now, community news. What has the community been up to? Well, one of the highlights this week has been the fact that the community all got together at the London Science Museum, where there was an event which Elite Dangerous featured in as a demonstration of the cosmos. And our own psychic and Alec Turner went along. So, what happened then, you two? Apart from seeing a picture of you two demonstrating your IQ,
Yeah,
It
I
was-
think they were having a go at me because I was moaning that they were there and I was looking after babies.
Yeah, so we felt like really rubbing it in that we were there
Yeah,
and you
we
weren't.
really rubbed it in.
I hope you choked on your oysters. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't have oysters. I had one of the nicest burgers I've ever had, but thanks.
It was great, wasn't it, Psychic? It was a really good evening, actually. I've never been to any of these museum lates. I think Natural History Museum does them as well. So, it was just amazing to be able to wander around free roam anywhere we wanted in the museum, beer in hand, because there was lots of places selling drinks, and just see the museum in a without the crowds. I loved that. So and then Frontier had their little stand upstairs on the third floor where they had about 8 PCs, some with VR. So it was just like go and chat to Elite Dangerous commanders, wander around the museum, go back and chat to some more Elite Dangerous commanders, wander around the museum. That was my evening. Drink beer,
Yeah,
get drunk.
pretty samey, really. Go and chat to some people. So it was really nice because Frontier invited some of their partners to come and actually sit down and have something to eat beforehand, and me and Alec both went to that as well, and it was bloody lovely. It was really nice to just sit down and have a really good catch up with everyone as well.
Yeah,
is that where you guys got the lowdown on the new mission and the glade?
No, that was a preview that we were invited to as well. I don't know why nobody in Lave got invited to it. I don't handle the Lave emails, so
We didn't receive an email from Kat.
I would double check your emails, Ben.
I was doing other things, but I don't remember seeing one from Kat.
But so
I wasn't massively worried because I knew you were there.
Yeah. No, that was something that was entirely different. That was a different thing. It was definitely not talking about shop. It was more just like chatting and catching up with some folks that I hadn't seen for a really, really long time, and it was just lovely. I felt personally really old hat because I felt like I was welcoming all these new folks who've never been to like events like that. I felt stupidly old hat, and I felt like I had to like hold people and go, it's all right, you can order things, it's fine. But it was lovely. It was a really, 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 really nice event. I love going. I'll go to the opening of an envelope if anybody invites me to go to it, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, Arthur was there and Sally were there. Arthur and Sally were there, and they were sort of, obviously part of the thing with this stand, with the 8 PCs upstairs, was they were introducing new people who hadn't experienced Elite before to sit down and have a go, particularly in VR, and that's always great to watch somebody who's never even tried VR sit down and suddenly be in the world of Elite in VR. It's always a really good moment because people are just blown away, I think, by that.
Yeah, I experienced VR for the first time there.
You did, didn't you?
I did. That was
You've never done the
never
VR.
ever done. I was like, oh, I know. I'll go to ECM and I'll because people were saying they were bringing VR there. I'll go to ECM, and then fucking COVID happened, didn't it? And I didn't get to go to that ECM. That was my first event, so I'd never done. I'd never checked out Elite in VR until Thursday, and now I'm like, oh my god, it's so good.
It is so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Don't worry, Psychic. It'll be arriving by the end of the month, or the end of the week, rather.
So exciting! I need to buy Beat Saber because it's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it doesn't have goggly eyes on the front, but yeah,
you can put goggly eyes on.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, there's a Lave Radio Vive set that Psycho Cow has kindly lent me for the last year and a half, and I've now got my birthday present, which is a rather expensive headset, which I'm not going to go into much details. out loud in case I'm overheard.
How are you finding? Can I quickly ask how you're finding that?
Well,
'Cause that's quite a new one, I know, and
Yeah.
I've not really looked or seen much about it yet.
Yeah, it's the how shall I put this?
It's a new Vive.
It's the new Vive. It's the Vive XR Elite, and it is astounding.
Awesome.
Basically, the headset is like wearing a really heavy pair of glasses. It's not.
So it's not the ski mask.
Oh, it is practically a ski mask. I look like something out of the video from Video Killed the Radio Star from the Buggles. You know, with these massive big glasses.
You've seen the great big things that you know obviously what the old VR ones are like, and
God,
you've got the Oculus Quest, and that's chunky on your face.
Oh yeah, they are chunky on your face, but this thing's like just wearing a heavy pair of glasses.
That's nice. That is very nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see me using it, my last stream, I was using it in and I was using it to dive into the maelstroms for the first time, and
that would be amazing. Yes,
that was awesome. So
I tell you one thing. What that we didn't mention on the patch notes. They have done improvements for VR. There are improvements for VR that have been mentioned on the patch notes as well. So it's just nice to see that it's not completely. I know. I'm going to Tangent Town. I'm backtracking about 20 minutes, but it's also quite nice to see that they're not. It's not something that they're completely not doing anything or not paying attention to. It's just that there was an awareness that VR, when people are moving around, if you're moving around on foot, VR is very incredibly difficult to implement.
Yes,
from
my understanding.
It is.
It's massively difficult compared to going in ships and things.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the problem with the No Man's Sky MV. If I'm honest, No Man's Sky MV, as far as the VR experience and that's concerned, walking around the planets in VR is quite good. The problem is that you try and fly the ship in VR, it's nowhere near as good as it is in Elite Dangerous. And that's always been my problem with No Man's Sky, is that the on-foot stuff is, I find, really good, but the in-ship stuff, which I really wanted to be good, is rubbish. And that happens in its VR as well, while Elite is exactly the opposite. The in-ship experience is amazing, but the on-foot experience isn't. Especially, well, in VR, you just got a flat screen, which, it takes you out at the moment, but it's still, yeah, it's still good. It's just not as good as it could be.
How would you? I know, again, totally Tangent Town and not talking about community news, but we'll get there. How would you improve upon it?
Well, the VR experience in
on foot,
on
yeah.
foot,
How
on
would you
foot.
improve upon that? What would you do to make that different?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I'm starting to do development work in VR as well, so I'm beginning to find out what needs to be done. And the main issue that I've seen so far is this thing called emotional disconnect, and that means, when you're looking down at your controllers, and if you've got an X52 or an X56, the model in the game mimics exactly what happens with your actions, and that helps with the immersion. The problem that you've got is that if you are not able to exactly mimic those actions that you're going to need to do, in other words, you need to pull a gun, so you'll pull a gun from behind your back, but if it's a rifle, you need to be able to use two hands, because otherwise it's just going to look daft with you holding one hand out and basically holding an entire rifle. It doesn't work, and that's the problem, because and it's even down to simple things like walking around. Some people cannot handle walking normally, and so they've come up with the alternative in No Man's Sky of teleporting, and they do this in Half-Life Alyx as well. So the problem is that in order to get the VR experience that good, it's got to mimic to the same level as Half-Life Alyx. And to tell you the truth, Valve spent just as much, actually spent more on getting Half-Life Alyx working than Frontier spent on the whole of Odyssey.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's incredibly difficult. I mean, yes, you can. I've seen fan mods do wonders with the original Half-Life, but it is such a lot of work. And the main problem I have is, and I know a lot of people who play VR will probably get angry with me when I say this, is that there is a reason why you had to buy Skyrim VR again, because the development cost is that much. It would be like everybody else is subsidizing a minority just so that they can play VR. As far as Odyssey is concerned, if you want Odyssey in VR, you're going to have to buy it again, and just so that Frontier could recoup the development costs. And I don't know how people would feel about that either.
Yeah. Okay, it's just interesting. I have been reading what folks have been saying in chat about it feeling the pacing being different for VR and like just normal not having VR. And I can totally see where that would be a thing. And there's potentially like a disparity there between a VR user and a mouse and keyboard user, and with the potential for playing together, you don't want it to be super.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can actually mimic it. So when someone teleports, there's a delay as that character runs to their teleport location. The more positive side of this is when I have put this theory out on the forums or out on Reddit, people who have VR said, "Yeah, look, we've got no problem understanding that kind of development work would happen. We're quite happy to pay for it again." The vast majority have said that, but the problem is that there is a very loud minority who would say, no, they managed to do it for the ship. Why can't they do it for and they've got no idea of how much work is involved.
I don't know necessarily and I don't think I'm wrong in this, but I don't think that the predominant amount of Elite Dangerous players play like exclusively in VR. I don't think there's definitely an affordability cap with VR, which isn't something which is for everybody. Maybe, I mean, Elite is an expensive game anyway. If you want to get right into it and stuff with HOTASes and all of that, you can go fucking mental with this game. But as like entry level and people who might be wanting to get into it first time, I was perfectly fine using a controller for a very, very long time playing Elite before I got like effectively a just higher than entry level HOTAS. I don't think that the predominant amount of players are especially in today's day and age, are fiscally able to contribute those sort of figures as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite ironic that there's a lot of people in the VR community. They have pigeonholed people who play VR but only Elite Dangerous. We're Elite Dangerous granddads, apparently. And we're pigeonholed as one complete section. They've only bought VR just to play the Elite Dangerous. So yeah, it's quite funny.
VR is absolutely awesome, by the way. Yeah, there is a problem with squeakers in it, but you can have private games now.
Yeah. I mean, I have yet to try. I've got Half-Life Alyx. I've yet to try it. I've got about 20 or 30. The humble bundle do occasional packages for VR activities and games, and I must admit I've gone a bit mental on that. So I've got quite a few products still to try, including the Zenith MMO, which will be interesting.
I'd
But
put Alex quite high on that list. It really, really, really is worth.
Have you tried Alien Isolation in VR yet?
Not for me, thank
That
you.
would make me cry so much.
Oh, it's so good.
It is. It is
I
so good.
genuinely prefer that over Alex.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was Ed telling me that because Elite Dangerous had been put into the Oculus section, they were right next to the guys doing a demo of Alien Isolation.
Oh, they weren't, were they? Oh,
They were, and the amount of people that were coming away from that game absolutely
terrified.
Terrified, genuinely terrified because the alien had got them. Let's be honest, it's nice.
So good though.
Yeah.
But we could talk about this topic. Yeah,
we could.
That game you play. Well, I was playing it anyway using WSAD. And I was wondering, that worked for me, and I didn't get sick as a parrot. But I don't know.
Yeah, there are a couple of. It's all down to the way that the software tracks your head movements. Sometimes you get lucky. Where I think they got lucky with Elite Dangerous, and I think they got lucky with Alien Isolation. You don't get the vomit.
I wouldn't say lucky. I'd say skillfully applied rather than
yes. Well, I don't know, because there's other games which I think you do end up feeling slightly queasy, even though they've put the same kind of effort in. Anyway, so back at the Science Museum, Psychic and Alec had their gossip. So let's move on to the next item. We have a new one from the Highwake Expedition. Right, it's to celebrate the first anniversary of the Galactic Exploration Catalogue, part of ED Astro. I take it, Ben, you've seen this.
I have watched it, yes, and I enjoyed it very much.
So yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes. We always like a bit of the Highwake. He's always he always seems to be spot on with that kind of thing.
Was this the one where it was like 0.000% of the galaxy discovered, and then they set off on a lifelong expedition, and it ticks up by 0.001%?
They come back all old and grey, having been out forever, and it's like you've discovered like a tiny other bit. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's so beautiful. I just look forward to seeing those videos come out. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I mean, Operation Ida. They've also now launched their own leaderboard for their Thargoid war effort. It means you can rank up in certain elements of the war effort, which is basically hauling, evacuation, and AX combat. I know that the AXI do their own leaderboards and awards for people who are interested. But yes, we'll put a link in the show notes, so showing you how you can join in with the Operation Ida. As normally they don't go for the combat; they normally go for the hauling, which is which does make a difference, but not as much difference as sampling apparently.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Thargoid tissue samples. That's what you need to do.
Off, please.
It depends. It might be completely different now.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I tried to do when I was going into the Maelstrom on Sunday, and yes, trying to get those Thargoid samples it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
No, that's the tricky bit.
And I've got to get 5 of them without blowing up.
Those are the special ones from the caustic generators. That's entirely different to the ones which fix everything. The first stage of doing that is 100% get a fleet carrier, so you only need to do it once at a time. Although not necessarily, because you can go in and then once you've done one, just leg it, repair, because you will need to, and then go back and do it again.
Yeah. I'm pretty bullish generally about not owning a fleet carrier, but that was a time where I thought, damn, I have to keep these things on my ship. I can't just put them somewhere where I go and get some more. It hadn't really dawned on me how awesome a feature that is of a fleet carrier, that you can put stuff somewhere while you go out and risk your ship.
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm still something like 6 billion away from having enough money to have a running fleet carrier.
You know what? I
It's
don't
gonna
know
be a
what fleet
while.
carriers cost, like 6 billion or something. I wish for about maybe 500 million we could just rent a small locker at a space station.
Oh my god, yeah. No, I think that would be I think that's a really good idea.
All I want to store is about 10 units. You know, I'll give you 500 grand if you can give me a locker where I can
Make
stick
it a rental
10.
charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You've got an ongoing fee, 100 credits a week or something like that.
Yeah, and Rodney and Del Boy were there going, right, okay, mate, you just put it in the locker. Yeah, you know what I mean? Lovely jubbly, and you go.
We'll look after it for you.
We have lockers. It's something you could genuinely have, like a physical locker that you went to. I mean, everybody could have a very similar physical locker that they went to, but just like putting stuff in, you know, just put a couple of little bits in, job done.
Yeah.
Especially like stuff along this lines where it's really tricky. And if you want to experience the center of the maelstrom content, yes, I've been told that if you have an anaconda with a size 4 repair limpet on it, that is the one thing that can repair you faster than the caustics can get you. But still, the caustic sinks are the way forward. But to get the caustic sinks, you have to be in the maelstrom in the first place. And while a lot of the stuff is on the outside, sometimes you're going to get a little bit of caustic damage. And like a lot of things aren't nice in there, and it can be tricky. And while I'm being facetious and saying, "Oh, just play for 4 weeks instead, Ben," I totally get where you're coming from. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if there's there is a catch-up mechanism. I mean, and I know that it's got to be after a certain length of time where everybody who's got they've got the caustics already, they've had the caustics for at least a couple of months. There must be a way for other people to catch up, because otherwise it does feel like no, that is gatekept. You're not going to go any further.
Okay, but if you're giving people the opportunity to like give it a couple of months and then like unlock it for more people, by the end of those 2 months, those couple of months, you should by that point probably have got stuff. Also, you can like hop in my ship. I'll take you in.
Yes, well, there is that option as
No
well.
problem. Hop in my ship. I've got everything that I need. Job done.
We touched on multi-crew a few weeks ago with that the guide on Reddit of how to do multi-crew, and commenting that not many people have done it. Maybe multi-crew will see a resurgence now, because exactly for that reason, that people the more experienced can show other people what's in the maelstrom.
And maybe at one point the only way to drop people off on the mothership is on multi-crew. I'd love that.
Or just spaff them out of your airlock. Off you go, lad. We can't land. Off you go.
Yeah, just throw them out. Throw them out. We'll pick you up later.
It is. It's a passenger cannon right there. There we go.
We've got.
There you go. That's
what they called
something.
again? Escape pods.
That's something for you and Chris.
We've already done the passenger
up with
passenger cannon. It's already a thing.
No, you two have got to come up with Maelstrom tours.
Maelstrom tours. Oh
tours.
God, I'll add that to the list of things that we haven't done for ages because we've been so busy.
What was that you're on about, Ben?
I was just thinking we've got not passenger things. We've got escape pods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why can't? I could just see us like flying over and then Psyche just kicking us out in the escape pod.
Off you go, lads. On you go.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Or even better, how about the for CZs when you're dropped out the back of a spaceship? Then
I ain't flying a vulture.
If only our dropship was a dropship.
Well, you never know. Anyway, again, the tangent town has hit us again. But Commander Exorcist has posted a new episode of Out There, Season 5, Episode 11. I haven't had a chance to catch up with Commander Exorcist. Is it any good?
They're all good. They're all good. He releases it's pretty much every Saturday. Commander Exorcist will release one of their Out There videos. Normally set to a lovely, lovely piece of music, beautiful vistas. Only problem is he keeps insisting on flying an anaconda, and I don't feel it. It's a bad time. It's a bad time for everyone involved.
Yeah, especially if it's an anaconda. Oh Lord. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to hand over to Alec because just timing it right. Buckyball Race 2 is underway with the Thargoid Structure Scramble. It's ongoing. You can join in now. Alec, how's it going?
It's going really well, and I'm very pleased to announce that we've had some testing today, and it's ongoing. The update has not killed it, as far as we know. Nothing's leapt out at us or spoiled it. Yeah, it's going really well. We've got so yeah, I've been doing the scores on this, and we've got 11 people in unlimited so far, and 13 in regulation. Times ranging between Shay Blackwood's completely ludicrous 17-minute run in unlimited.
How dare he?
I know,
Oh,
it's down to what 43 minutes, so sort of ranged around about half an hour, and it's really good fun. People are having an absolute hoot. There's been a couple of bugs that we've run into and sort of found workarounds for. The most annoying of which was that you have to get a Thargoid link, which are the little things that drop down on little dangly strings inside the Thargoid structure.
Yes, I know those.
Yes, and then you shoot at them, and they're supposed to drop on the ground, and then you scoop them up. But what people are finding is that you shoot at them, and they just explode. And it's really weird. We have tried everything. Some people, poor Shay, bless him, just couldn't get one ever. People were sort of saying, shoot it from the turret, target it, don't target it, shoot it from above, shoot it from below, get out and shoot it on foot, shoot it with a handgun. Nothing that Shay tried worked, and we've had such mixed results. When I was planning the race, I didn't have a problem at all. So I didn't, I think I had a very random occasion when it didn't work. So we can't really figure out what triggers it, but in the end, there's other stuff lying around the Thargoid base, so we just changed the rules and said if you can't shoot it, then get a screenshot of one hanging on its threads and just grab something else.
So, I mean, there is one way to do it, but it will probably add to his time. But with it being Shay, he could probably do with having something added to his time.
If you have a foolproof method, I would love to hear it.
I was told categorically that the best way to do it is, you know the concussion grenades that you throw out that get rid of the things. Have you tried that?
No. Okay.
So, like, if you throw a concussion grenade, apparently that's supposed to make those drop. The grenades that drop your shields, basically, those ones.
Right. Okay.
So you mean you've got to get out of your SRV on foot in the Thargoid base in order to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's got 17 minutes, so we can get some extra time.
There's all sorts of other crap lying around on the ground, so
yeah,
just grab something else. Yeah, it's going really well. So it runs until Sunday. Loads of time to get involved, and update didn't screw it up. So really
is there a live split for it? I've been so busy.
There is. Yeah, Epiphus came up with a live split.
Epiphus is such a legend. Big old shout out to Epiphus for being a legend.
Yeah, in fact, there was something in the patch notes about the journal now telling us when we've been hyperdicted. Oh, so the other thing I did with the race, which has worked really nicely, actually, is that you're getting hyperdicted a lot, and obviously, if you're racing, that's really annoying. So basically, I've made it that you grab a screenshot of your hyperdiction, and you get a 1.5 minute bonus on your time, and it works out just about spot on. So you kind of don't have to worry about the hyperdictions. But yeah, I wonder if Live Split's capable of auto-detecting that now and doing the bonuses. I don't know. I don't know what you can do with Live Split.
Sounds great. Right. Well, while I was away, I was doing a load of experimentation, obviously in VR, and this thing that I discovered was I managed to get the shiny sidey in Live 4.0 playing on the Xbox. So this is my original Xbox commander, and I'm now back playing him on an Xbox thanks to the wonders of GeForce Now. Because apparently you can run GeForce Now through the Edge browser on the Xbox. So I went through the whole process of porting my commander and then having to set up an Xbox, a GeForce Now account, and then finding out that GeForce Now only runs Elite Dangerous from either Steam or the Epic Store, so I had to go and create a new Steam account, download it on a new, download it onto the new Steam account, then transfer that Steam account onto GeForce Now, and then finally, after 3 to 4 hours, I was eventually able to play with my Xbox Commander using a kind of PC account on an Xbox. And to tell you the truth, it works, and it's doing a reasonable. It does a reasonably good job. I would say give it a try with the free version. You might have to wait a while before you're connected, and if you're happy with the free version, then knock yourself out and pay for the extra cash if you want to keep it running on an Xbox. I don't think GeForce Now is available on the PlayStation, unfortunately, although they were talking about bringing it to the PlayStation at some point. So I put a link in the show notes to show how it was done and how much hair that I lost ripping it out. Yes. So and finally we have. Is it 16 tickets?
Yes,
are
I just
still
checked.
available. We just heard from Vontian, have we? That there's 16.
No, I
tickets.
literally
from the
just went on
website.
the website and checked.
Yes. So yeah, 16 tickets are left.
Yeah, go ECM. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be there, and I will be bringing down the Elite Miniatures game. So anybody who wants to have a game of that, you're welcome. Right.
Can I just interrupt for a very quickly? I would love to get a mission report from Ben to find out how he's doing with this activation mission.
Oh.
I've currently lost the base trying to run up a hill.
I did wonder what I was watching. I've just been watching Ben running across this black and white landscape for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
I watched the Chris Mark 4 get exploded.
Chris died. There's a Thargoid flying overhead, so I know it's here somewhere. I just don't know where the base is. So I was going to say, Chris, if you could fly in.
What, just distract the Thargoid before you die?
Well, no, just shoot at where the base is, so I know where the hell to go.
I can't get anywhere. I get killed as soon as I go in because I'm in not a ship designed for it. I got networking decided to kick me out.
Yeah.
You got interdicted by a Thargoid, and at that point the game decided it didn't want me to be in Ben's ship anymore and noped me out. So I could see that you were fighting, and I had nothing on my screen whatsoever. And then eventually it just decided not to connect me back in again. So, yeah.
I had to land miles away.
Ben, you know Arthur was saying on the live stream that there's something we're going to have to find for ourselves. I don't think this is it.
No, but I might find it by stumbling across.
God, that's so funny.
You know, the thing was, we were joking about you two being Laurel and Hardy of the Thargoid world.
I have not died yet.
You haven't been anywhere to die, Ben.
Hey, I nearly died sliding down one of the bloody hills. And I bet you I can't summon my ship. Let's see. Shall I try recalling my ship?
Yes, you do. Johnny Interceptor is going to get
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I've summoned my ship. I don't know where the hell it's going to go.
God, I've loved doing these missions. It's such a fun gameplay. It really is such a fun gameplay loop. But oh my God!
Okay, there's my ship.
Yeah. What?
Okay, anyone wants to watch my ship getting destroyed? Where are you going?
Oh man, incredible!
Okay, that shows me where the ship is. Okay, it's coming. The yellow beams is the base. It's over here somewhere.
Oh, I like the fact you're using your the destruction of your ship as a navigational aid.
Use the revenant fire to figure out where your ship is. Oh, it's dead. It's so dead. You're so fluffed. Oh man,
this
so
is fine.
funny.
This is fine. It's running away. It's escaped, and it showed me where the revenant fire shows me where it is. It's in this direction. I might get there by the end of the stream.
Who knows? I'm sure we'll check in again a little bit later and find.
There it is! I see it! I can see the base!
Incredible!
Woo!
Sorry, Colin, as you were. I just needed to draw attention to the craziness that was happening.
Also, sorry, podcast listeners. I'm sure this is crap podcast listening.
I don't know. I'm dying with laughter. It's great.
It's a good job he's not leading a squad because they'd only follow him out of a morbid sense of curiosity, really.
Lemmings, isn't it? It's lemmings.
Oh, dear. Right, I think if we could run a couple of adverts now, and then we'll come back with the in-game events for this week, I think.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation, the passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning, passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
Hey, why you messing around with those other handheld toys? Do people still look at you like you're a little spaceman with a ray gun in your pocket? You want guns? We got guns. How much guns do you need? Kinematic weapons, assault rifles, SMGs, rocket launchers, and even a pistol so your mom can feel safe. We were founded in 3240. We've been maiming people since before you were born. It's been clinically proven that nothing shreds through skin like a kinematic weapon. Conquer all!
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Welcome back. We are pleased to report that Ben has actually found the base by using his ship as a sacrificial lamb.
It's not dead yet.
Give it time. Give it a minute.
It's getting better. Yeah.
It'll buff out.
Tis a flesh wound. Anyway, the in-game events. Well, what's been happening this week? Well, there's been quite... Well, not as much as you'd expect, but yeah, there's been a couple of interesting things. Thursday the 4th, Sojin A, the wonderful Thargoid hybrid person, has announced to the world that the Thargoids know that we're coming into the Maelstroms. So they're expecting us, and they've got surprises for us. I love this bit. Just when you think that everything's going to be plain sailing, along comes a vision of doom. So, yay.
As I think we're discovering today, she was right.
She was 100% correct. Well done, Soa. Congratulations, Miss Soa. You did a very good job of telling us that shit was going to go down.
And it went down indeed. Of course, on Tuesday the 9th, the Thargoid Pulse neutralizer becomes available. That's today, thanks to the CG results. Yeah, the recipe for this is quite interesting. We've got 1 unclassified relic, 5 massive energy surge analytics, 5 propulsion elements, and 5 sensor fragments. It's not a one-time unlock.
Mm-hmm.
So this means you've got to do it for every ship you want to use.
Every time you want one, you need to do it.
Right.
You need to do
okay.
it. But now, big caveat here. It's not super difficult to get the items.
No,
it really isn't. It's not difficult like caustic crystals, Alec?
No, it could have been a lot harder, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, it turns out I just had a quick check and I've got all the things apart from I just need to go and grab a Grelic. So, yeah.
The Grelic's easy.
Yeah, it is really, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's easy compared to the rest of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone doing the buckyball race who doesn't know, for example, and they're sort of going into 2 Thargoid bases on every lap, which is like every 20 minutes they're whizzing around a couple of these. All I say in quotes, you have to do, and it's only really distance. It's only really distance that's the hurdle. All you have to do is go and get some relics from some Guardian sites, take them in with you, drop one in each of the 3 kind of glowing things around the base, and then scan it, and you get 3 relics out the bottom.
Yeah. The massive energy surge analytics, do you get that when you're actually thrown out of the maelstrom?
So that's the big pulse. The big pulse from the maelstrom will give you the massive energy surge analytics.
Now I don't know if this is a bug, but I saw a few people, I think it was in Psychic Stream, saying that they had never received any. I wasn't aware. You know, when you discover a new material, you get a pop-up and it goes, new material discovered, and it tells you,
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing that for a massive energy surge analytics. So I was a bit afraid that I hadn't ever received any of these, despite being knocked out of the maelstrom several times. And then I had a look in my inventory, and it turns out I have loads of them. So I don't know if the pop-up's missing or something.
You know what? Now you say that, I'm kind of that same mentality that even when I was what was it, Thursday, when I like last week at some point, or the week before, when I made that Mamba and was like diving and trying to get the surges. I was watching Odyssey Materials Helper a lot, so I didn't notice like a thingy dropping in or anything along those lines. So, or like a notification dropping in that I picked one up, but I kept seeing it go up. I don't think I've ever not got one.
Okay, yeah, I feel like maybe the in-game notification is missing, because I was quite surprised to discover I'd got any of these.
FES is asking if there is a time bonus for cooking a relic during the race, Alec.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll make something up. Show me some screenshots, and I'll come up with something that's not quite good enough to make it worth it, but we
You
can all
get
have a
20
good laugh.
seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
What I'm
relic.
curious about now, given what we've discovered inside the maelstrom, is whether anyone's going to be brave enough to try and go inside the spacebound Thargoid structure for one of their 2 structure scans, if that's even possible. I might have to allow that. That'd be quite funny.
Ooh, dear, brown trousers or brown spacesuit time, I think.
I don't know if it's worth it, because you get interdicted all the time on the way to them and all of that kind of stuff. It would need to be a huge bonus for me to even consider it.
Dropping massive hint, subtly like. Right, it's also that time of the week.
Store alert!
In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
We actually haven't got anything new to report, but there is a merch store sale going on at the moment. Up until the 11th of May, so as of this time of recording, on probably when this podcast is cancelled, it'll probably be ended, but they are taking a 20% off for a lot of caps, a lot of t-shirts, a lot of basically real-life merch. Real-life cosmetics, if you like. Shipping things like the Triple Elite mugs to the UK also seems to be sorted now. So if you want your Triple Elite mug and you feel like you deserved one after all the effort that you've put in, you can now get one. I know. I know I deserve one, I think. In addition, we also have the Aegis CG reward paint jobs. There for the Chieftain, the Dropship, and the Clipper. Yes, do you like having red triangles all over your ship?
Should have been blue. They should have been blue, man. Blue triangles. They were missing a trick.
Am I just missing something there then?
Well, that's the whole thing. You were all talking about blue triangles for fucking ever. Should have been blue triangles on the ships.
Could have been blue and M&Ms.
It would have been.
No,
It would have been so
I-
much better.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Right. Well, we do have a mostly clueless section. Mostly
About the
from-
store, can I just quickly interject about the
go on.
store? Yeah, the store. On a lot of the preview stuff that was released on Friday with a lot of the Elite Dangerous partners, on that preview stuff, what the on-foot Thargoid mission, the person who was doing it had a new outfit on that hasn't been seen before.
Oh,
so
Actually, yes. Sorry, go on.
So it
Sorry.
might mean that we might have on-foot Odyssey content stuff coming to the store very soon, like a different type, a different suit. It had like a cowl on. It looked really cool.
Yeah.
It looked like a really cool addition.
Oh, are we sure it's not already there? I'm sure I saw this morning in the Burr Pit Discord. I think it was Reenie was squeeing about new cosmetics for on foot.
Well,
Not only new hood, but new cowl and new. I'm sure there's about 3 or 4 things that she squeed about.
Yeah, it's the new
Oh,
June
that's
film's
nice.
coming out soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Catch
Well, I'll
in.
have a look and I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Just quickly onto the mostly clueless. Now, this is something I didn't realize. If I didn't realize this, that if you're in a mega ship and you're or an outpost with limited landing pads, I thought I was under the impression that as soon as you went into the actual hangar itself, that's it. The pad was free and other people would be able to use it. You don't. The pad is still locked up even though that you were there. So when I was waiting 20 minutes for my delivery of a couple of heatsink launches, I was blocking that pad for 20 minutes and didn't realize until a couple of commanders prodded me in the chat. So just to let you know, because I was always under the impression that as soon as your ship was moved to the hangar, it was fine, but apparently not. Yeah. Also, another public service announcement. The tip on last week's show about the station services being in the planet services is now wrong. It's no longer in station services.
Yeah, this is me. So we did a mostly clueless where I pointed out that all the information about what services a station had could be found in the system map by clicking the station and then looking in the planetary information section on the right. Frontier have now fixed this, so that is no longer true, and the information about the services can now be found in the station description icon, I think.
Cool. Cool. Now, we actually put out some questions last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we do it every week now.
Oh, we're doing it every week now.
Yep, we do it every week. We have a question based on the show that we go out and we get some community bits and pieces from, and it was like a conversation that we were having last week was regarding Elite Dangerous lore, and I got a little bit sort of weird about having lore drops in either Odyssey, in like just Odyssey only, so going in and getting something in Odyssey or having it like available in both that you can scan on an SRV. And we spoke to chat, and chat suggest like the general run out from chat was like, oh yeah, no, we'd much rather just put it all in Odyssey. Heck it. And a lot of the comments are kind of reflect that as well.
Yeah, well, the question of the week is went out on Twitter. That poll is now closed. We've had 117 votes, and it turns out that actually most people want it. Well, 52% of people want it in both. and 48% of people want it in Odyssey. So there's obviously been a late surge at some point.
No. It was pretty equal all the way through. It was pretty equal. The comments, as you will see, like that, as we put in the show notes, and we normally go through those at this point. The comments in the show that we had on the poll are very much in favour of Odyssey.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. We've got Elvis Crennan. He says there comes a time in the game's progression that new content needio focused the same as what's happening when ED Horizons was released. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. We've got M. Weeble. I think some on foot and none not, and some not on foot. If everything is forced to be backward compatible, it's going to make progress progressively slow. Yeah, I can understand that, because basically you're going to get, you've got to make sure that everything is all backtracked so that, yeah. We've got Dante Schnick. Of course, we've now gone to the point where I will massacre every single person's name. So far, we're probably on 3 drinks already. Content is locked behind DLCs all the time. It's part of what you're paying for. In the goodness of time, the lore gets recorded in various places to read, but we need to progress the game too. So also buy Odyssey. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ephius, got no problem with it being in Odyssey. Back before the base game and Horizons merged, if you didn't have Horizons, you missed out on the planet-based logs, which is true, and of course all the Thargoid and Guardian bases and its related lore. Yeah, because.
True, and I guess also back then we didn't have the codex, so you couldn't even look these things up in a different way, could you? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is true.
It was a little while, like the codex came in relatively recently in comparison to like Horizons.
Yeah. So when you got those INRA logs and they did eventually time out and disappear from your inbox, as I recall, then they were kind of gone, weren't they? You had to find them on the internet if you wanted to reread them, as I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that in the codex there is a whole load of logs that you used to get from INRA or for the from the generation ships and things like that. But it did seem that lately, especially since the Azimuth saga started, they're not really recorded in the codex anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, I've read reports that what goes in the codex is very buggy, actually, or inconsistent at least.
Right, we've got Ubermick. He's agreeing with everybody, really. Time to move forward, for God's sake. It can't progress if it constantly has to keep one foot in the past to appease those who moan about Odyssey. It's been more or less sorted now, and it's often available dirt cheap on sale. No excuses for not upgrading anymore, other than salt. Yeah, I've seen similar opinions to this with on the forums. People are constantly asking how many people are actually still playing the legacy mode. It doesn't seem to have a hardcore following, and obviously if you're on console, it's your only option. Go on.
I've just, yes, sorry. This goes back to the Science Museum. After we all left the Science Museum, I ended up in a pub with Spanch and a couple of Hutton truckers, and Spanch had some. I was a bit pickled by then, so it hasn't all registered in my mind, and we must get him on the show to remind me. But one thing that I do remember is I was talking to Spanch about because he's monitoring all this data that's coming in through the ED data network. And actually, he spends a lot of his time data cleaning because it can be a bit messy sometimes, and he likes to tidy things up. So the statistic that blew me away was that there is a difference between the log entries that are coming from Odyssey players and the log entries that are coming from legacy players. And the percentage split is 97-3. 97% of the data that he sees coming in on the data network is Odyssey, and 3% is legacy, which is astounding.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that from the forums and from certain content creators.
No, I
You,
thought
you,
that.
you,
Yeah.
It's that vocal minority thing, isn't it, that we talk about quite a bit. Those of us who are having fun are quite happy to have fun and not talk about it all the time. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Because
And the other interesting stat, while I'm remembering these, was that and this is kind of based loosely on statistics they see through the ED data network on things like number of systems discovered or whatever, compared to figures that Frontier publish, suggest that about 25% of the player base are submitting data to the data network. That's a very vague, hand wavy statistic, but sometimes Frontier will publish a statistic, and what you can see from the data gathered through the data network accounts for about a quarter of it. So I thought that was quite interesting too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's only Frontier are the only people who really know what the numbers are. We can make guesses using Steam charts or using the journal, consolidating with the journal. But yeah, it does it does feel that there's not that many people playing Legacy anymore, which, well, I suppose it's inevitable, really.
Well, I mean, like, there's so much more good stuff happening on the live client. That'll be why.
Right, on to Kitiana. We need to see more Odyssey-only content. The game needs to move forward with the DLC. Again, it's
100% agree.
Yep.
I just want to say how happy I was when I saw that we were getting an Odyssey mission.
Yes.
Because I feel like, and I feel like it was cowardly not to have. I was trying to think what's the opposite of brave. I feel like I've been crying out for this content. I've been crying out to have some sort of Odyssey content involving the Thargoids, and I'm so glad that they did it now as opposed to waiting for more updates to come out, because it doesn't feel particularly brave to not include content for your new DLC to try and entice people to purchase the DLC that's been out for a year.
It's funny that because we had exactly the same thing with Horizons. When Horizons first came out, yes, there was stuff there, but unfortunately, it's things like CGs. You would have thought there would have been Horizons CGs, but there weren't. It was always still in space, and it's the same thing with.
I don't think we ever had one. I don't think we ever had a Horizons only CG. Like, there was ever in the whole time when Horizons wasn't just like was a separate DLC and not bought into not when everybody got the Azure paint jobs. I don't think we ever had one that you couldn't complete if you didn't have Horizons. And I get it, there's an inclusivity thing there. I totally get that. But also, there is a profit margin. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Ernie for UK, it's the same kind of opinion. The DLC has more advanced game mechanics and systems. Let's make the most of them and kick some ass lore while we're at it. I'm sure we're missing a comma there on my phrasings.
No. It was you reading it incorrectly, but it's not a problem. It was just get some kick-ass lore. It's like, if we could, I'd love to be able to go and scan a data pad, and maybe in that data pad be a little extra bit of lore data that appears. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, it's little nods and little extra bits that you can only find in Odyssey. I think that would be, nice. A little bit of Galnet news that you can only find in Odyssey.
Not Galnet news, but certainly something that you could go and like tangibly go and discover for yourself, but only in Odyssey content not on just like blanket live server. I think that'd be great.
Excellent. And finally, Happy Moon Monkey. I almost said Happy Moon Monday there for some reason. Sounds like a Manchester band, that. FDev needs to be less timid with his updates and content, e.g. I love exploring the abandoned settlements and finding the lost explorers. Odyssey content and surprises in these locations and new locations would be more than welcome. Yeah, I completely agree with this, because they've taken I think they've taken the space game. They've concentrated on the space game for the last 2 updates. I think it's about time that Odyssey gets a little bit more. I mean, I would prefer it if there's more integration between the two halves. But yeah, I think that more Odyssey content is going to be welcome going forward. What about you guys?
100% agree. We need more Odyssey content. It needs to happen. We need to have it. We need to have more on foot content. I feel like the game is in a place now. Even like now, today, it felt more stable. I know they don't really include that on the patch notes now, because people were sick of them saying general improvements. But if you can feel it, you can legitimately feel it. I've seen it. I've felt it improving right now, but I want more content that is to do with. I want more thugs on foot. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, this is quite an interesting point. Commander Miggles in chat has said that. He said that one of the, and I feel for this one, because one of the disappointments for Odyssey was that none of the ground assets and horizons were updated to have any Odyssey interaction with them.
Yeah,
and I feel they missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, so okay, I guess we'll have a new question later.
Yeah,
on
I'll
Twitter.
figure something out. It'll be about update 15.
Really?
I wonder what else it will be. Yeah, it will definitely be something to do with update 15. But keep an eye on the socials. I'll try and post more on the socials this week. I was a bit lax last week because I was doing stuff and it was my birthday, and then lots of stuff happened, and I just haven't got around to doing anything. But this week there'll be more things to come out and interact with. I promise. Go follow us on Twitter, because I won't do it on any other social.
Right.
I think I reposted some of your things that I saw.
No. It's like this. No, the main stuff that comes out from the Lave account. It was.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything because I was concentrating.
No,
on other shit.
Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. I saw that you did some things, and I did shove them up on Mastodon. If you
I
did
wouldn't bother
them,
this shit all on
yeah.
Mastodon. It's not a problem.
I'm gonna keep my gob shut about it, at least.
Oh, update question. How are you getting on with your mission?
Screw you! Did it first time.
Get you! All that running about was worth it. It's taking you what? How long? 2 hours? Well done, Ben.
I don't care.
Stealth mission.
Stealth mission.
Congratulations. Well played.
I'm not actually willing to claim it until I landed Bernoulli Landing.
That's foul. I didn't claim it either until I landed.
And you went for a leisurely walk in the mountains as well.
And I had a beautiful walk in the snowy mountains, yes.
It
was almost like being back in the Peak District.
And dying.
I didn't die. My ship nearly did. My poor ship is only at 41% health. But fingers crossed, I think I'm in the 8-second countdown. I should be fine.
You got this, Ben. You got this.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for a Thargoid to just jump out and nope.
Fingers crossed.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
On to any other business then. We've got a tweet from VKB Sim that just says one word, soon, and a picture of a throttle.
So the picture of the throttle is mine. No, it didn't have that picture. That was mine.
Oh, right, was it?
That is what people are assuming. So for people that don't know, one of the so VKB, obviously the very fancy sticks, HOTAS sticks that a lot of people use.
They're very good.
But
they're not as good
correct me
as
if I'm
Vertical.
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't do a great throttle unit or a sort of affordable, compatible throttle unit. So if you want true HOTAS, what a lot of people do is get a VKB stick for their stick, and then they use something else like a Thrustmaster
Yeah.
T16000 throttle. And for years now, VKB have had these sort of concept pictures of a bloody beautiful looking throttle unit. So when they posted this tweet, I think a lot of people are thinking this might be the throttle.
This might be. Yeah, I mean, I adore my VKB. I mean, I'd place them. They're somewhere between Thrustmaster and Verpal in terms of leetness of them. And they're not, it's not like, say, the Thrustmaster Warthog. But it's, it's a very good, and what I like about it is it's a very hackable stick, I guess I'd say. And that seems to be quite common with their mentality. And they've posted a beautiful throttle that is on. It's on the one I saw. They've got two options. They've got one that is the one I'm looking at that's on rails, but it also contains idents or indents or whatever.
Oh, nice.
And it's got a load of nice little professional features that somebody who uses HOTASes, who uses throttles basically, would like, especially for space games. We will see until we see is basically my attitude as with everything else.
Elvis Kremen posts in chat that there's also a VKB UK coming soon, so I suppose the soon tweet could just be that, actually.
Could be. We'll see.
Might be
Well,
jumping.
on the subject of controllers, we've also had a mail shot from Game Glass, who have gone out teasing a redesigned ED shard, which are coming soon. The redesign from the ground up for Odyssey and is fully compatible with the Forge. Our new Elite Dangerous shards bring the game to life in immersive new ways. These include new interactions for throttle controls, targeting, weapons, manipulations, and much more. By popular request, brand new shards for FPS, SLF, and SRV and carrier gameplay will be included. They're almost ready and will be free for all Game Glass Pass members. So, yes, someone's going to have to remind me what is Game Glass.
Game Glass is a system that I use it all the time. That basically allows you to assign auxiliary controls predominantly to your tablets.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's one of the reasons why my tablet sits up on a tablet mount right next to my monitor, so I can just click on it and I can do various things like emoting or control the power or whatever, things like that. They've got a subscription model, which is something. It's something like 10 quid a year or something. It's not scary. But you can also just do a one-off purchase of a module, I guess you could say, like a screen for your tablet, and they're 4 or 5 quid or something like that, I guess. Yeah. You also have a whole load of community-based screens as well. So they've released their tools that they use for designing things, and we can all do our own ones if we wanted to.
Is that what they mean by the Forge in this post?
That's the Forge, yes.
Right, okay.
One of the things that I love about them and their real benefit, there's a reason for being, I guess, is they've got some beautiful, beautiful designers who work for them, and that's their value added compared to other things which maybe offer the same kind of functionality, but let's face it, half of the people who do these things are developers. And speaking as a developer, I ain't no designer.
No, it's very cool looking, isn't it? I imagine if you've got a sort of flight sim rig, that having a few tablets with this Game Glass stuff on it would just really complement that and look amazing.
Yeah,
and it can be next generation controls.
Yeah, that's fair. You can also, if I wanted to, I could have it like a small one for, say, social emotes on my phone, I could load it up on my laptop because it's just a web page. I could log in and load it on my on my laptop and do other things there, and I could do yet more things on my tablet or tablets. You know, it's like one account. Just log in as many times as you want, and you can have all the things. So yeah, if you wanted a glass cockpit, I guess you could do it.
Excellent. Just have to have a lot of iPads, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can you can do what I went off and did with my. Oh, you know how you get like photo frames, digital photo frames. Instead of getting a digital photo frame, I went off and picked up £100 tablet from Amazon. And that gives so much more options than any of these digital photo frames, and is about £50 less than like the half decent ones that I saw. So it doesn't have to cost you don't have to go off and do it like on a £1,000-1,500 iPad Maxi, whatever the hell.
Yeah,
you can do it on anything. It doesn't require oomph.
And finally, we have the Dex Legacy is back. They've just launched a Kickstarter for Season 2. So we're going to put a link in the show notes for anybody who's enjoyed the original Dex Legacy series. Yes, Emily Inkpen has put a Kickstarter up for the second season. So yeah, pass that on there. Does anybody else have any other business before we round out for the night?
I'm going to sleep tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to having a lot of sleep. It's been Thargoid Christmas today. Holy shit! I hope everybody is enjoying the update as much as I did.
Yeah. I can safely say I definitely enjoyed that sneaky avoid the Revenant restore power to the restore power mission.
Did one even see you? Did they hit you at all?
I saw something turn red just as I got into the base. So I think when it went red.
Yeah, when they go red, they see you.
Yeah, so
did you shit yourself and run?
I was already running.
Oh man, it's so good.
It went red just as I opened the door.
Well, just one final bit of any other news. Wintermute GB has informed me that there is actually a special offer for GeForce now. I think it's 50% off, so it's £27 for 6 months. So if you wanted if you were happy with the free service and wanted something a bit better, then there you go. I think
just add another thing onto that. Just while you mentioned GeForce Now. Over Christmas, I tried an alternative that actually allowed me to play the games that I was wanting to play, which were Elite Dangerous and Minecraft and Rockstar stuff, and that was called Boosteroid, which I believe is actually it started out life as a Ukrainian-based service.
Right.
But I use that on my tablet with my gamepad and my itty bitty tiny keyboard to fly around and do console command stuff. Like pretend I'm playing on a console in Elite, or obviously GTA. It's aimed at gamepads. That was quite successful, I thought. How it would work on consoles, I have no idea, obviously. But I guess if the Xbox has got the Edge browser, it is browser based, and I did it using Chrome, which is Edge is Chromium, so might work.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been corrected. It's 40% discount. So let's quickly go on to the shoutouts. So our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving shoutouts to the other Elite Dangerous podcasts, which are basically the Guard Frequency, who do other space Games, and also hello to the cheese-loving loose screws over there in America. Following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And we'd just like to thank to everybody who's chipped in on the Twitch chat. And Chris and Ben, have you had anybody join in with your efforts around the Thargoid base, or have we all just been laughing at you?
We were deliberately in a private group because Chris had this idea that everybody would be trying to do this, which was a valid idea.
Excellent. Right. So we'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have all created music that we use in the show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find the contact links in home/contact us. Menu option on the laveradio.com/website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So, thanks to Ben.
Thank you very much and good night. Or good morning, good afternoon, whatever.
Thanks to Psykit.
Catch you later, guys.
Thanks to Alec.
Thanks, Colin. Lovely to have you back.
And special thanks goes to today's tech specialist and the quiet Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome.
So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerously into a maelstrom.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word. Space can be lonely. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Update, 9th of May 3309. The long-awaited Thargoid Pulse Neutralizer is available, and the first tranche of commanders have already journeyed to the heart of the Maelstrom to discover what lies at their core. The advance comes as a result of a research programme involving Aegis, Professor Palin and Ramtar, who are indebted to those who delivered commodities to enable mass production of the pulse neutralizer. Some commanders who assisted will have been gifted one of the modules at the Aegis megaship Oronmilla, but everyone else can buy them from the technology broker at rescue ships. For every pulse neutralizer, you'll need to provide the following: 5 massive energy surge analytics, 1 unclassified relic, 5 propulsion elements, and 5 sensor fragments. The energy surge analytics are a byproduct of trying to get to the middle of the Maelstrom without a pulse neutralizer. You make the unclassified relic by feeding a Guardian relic into the device at the heart of a Thargoid structure. The propulsion elements and the sensor fragments can be collected by blowing up Thargoid ships or scavengers, and by blowing up Thargoid sensors. If you take them to a technology broker, the technology broker will give you one of the shiny new pulse neutralizers. And that, together with the caustic sync launcher that you hopefully already have, and a fast ship, is all you'll need to get into the Maelstrom. The next tricky bit is when you reach the 50-kilometre boundary. When the maelstrom turns white, crackles, and then starts to pulse, you need 4 pips to system and to activate the pulse neutralizer. Too soon and you get repulsed. Too late and you get repulsed. Just right and you're through. There seem to be 2 pulses, so you need to repeat the process a second time. And then, all of a sudden, the caustic corrosion stops, the whirling energy stops, and you find yourself in an asteroid field. It's quite nice in there, at least until the Thargoids turn up to welcome you. The new hunter ship, also known as the Glaive, may come to say hello. And there are rumours that if you fly to the very centre of the eye of the maelstrom, there may be something else to find. Galnet News Digest is currently unable to confirm this, as its ships came under repeated assault by hunters and interceptors. We shall continue our investigations and possibly report further tomorrow. Professor Albert Tesreau has sent a number of Aegis researchers into the core. Their and our mission is to identify what lies at the centre of the maelstrom, and to gather information that may help us to encourage the Thargoids to end their invasion. Admiral Aidan Tanner has wisely suggested that it would be a good idea to outfit your ship carefully before venturing into the core of the maelstrom.